I never used to enjoy this map as much in competitive, but recently, and especially in the December balance preview, I have actually enjoyed a lot of the games that play on this map. So anyway, game is started. Let's roll in with the intro. Hello everybody and welcome to our third game of the day. We have our new king, who's this faction, Von Ivan, playing as the OKW on the west side of Klodny.
He is indeed on the west. He's looking straight in with Luftwaffe, and he's up against a new challenger, a new player to Company of Heroes official organised competitive play. It's Kryptic in the east as the Soviets.
Yep, we're going to see Kryptic's entry tactics into this tournament. No one knows quite what he's going to do just yet. He's a loose cannon AE, your favourite type to commentate, I'm sure. And yeah, interesting with Von Ivan going for Luftwaffe. We expect that, unlike some other players today, he has read the patch notes and realised that the Fallschirmjäger are now power dropped. For anybody that wasn't tuned in earlier for game one, we did have a hilarious... We missed it, unfortunately. Fahu did try to bring in Fallschirmjäger from one of the buildings, resulting in the entire squad dying from the sky.
So the changes...
I think that was his strategy. I think, you know, like back in medieval days, they used to fling bodies from catapults.
That was by early biological warfare. They'd just throw diseased bodies into castles to. So this was a castle. This was his garrison cut-off house. So he put dead bodies in there to put disease in Helping Hands' back lines, and that is innovative play by Fahu.
And also just to put the fear of death into him, because he's just like, look, these are my own men, they're elite troops, I'm going to sacrifice 4 of them to show you how little respect I treat captives with. So,
oh no, I know what it was. Do you know, World War II actually started in Europe when the Nazis... What they did is they got loads of like political prisoners, dressed them up in Polish uniforms, and then pretended that the Polish were attacking, and killed them, and that was like an excuse to go to war. I think Fahu was getting ready. Well, enough of that joking, enough of that merriment. I believe there may be a game to cast, and it's getting interesting as Von Ivan's planting a lot of barbed wire and getting himself into some decent positions.
Yeah, it's a very standard starting game. We've got cons in the build. Conscripts, of course, have been reworked in this balance patch. A couple of the changes, I think, from memory, can now only pick up 1. They have 1 weapon slot, and they have better accuracy in general, rather than just 40% at Vet 2.
Yes, Conscripts have had a lot of changes. They will now scale a lot better into the late game. Their damage has gone down, however their accuracy has gone way up. It's also normalized accuracy as well. They've had a lot of Molotov teching changes as well. They should be able to get Molotovs a lot more easily. He's heard them just being teched right now. Kryptic's gone Molotovs in this build. And indeed, this could be a very interesting game, and a very interesting start to this very interesting game.
You rarely see it, especially in like the competitive 1v1, is that Molotov upgrade, because everybody's just been using the penal battalions for so long, but we do forget how versatile Conscripts are on the field. They are anti-garrison, vehicle snares. They used to have 2 weapons pickups, now they just have the 1, but you know, they're good. They're capturing units, they're putting 6-man teams on everything, and they're a very efficient unit.
They are now. They really are now. They've started to be anyway. Also, a lot of veterancy changes on Conscripts. I'll talk about them later, though, as we acquire veterancy. But the most notable one to talk about right now is, of course, Molotov throwing speed is increased at Vet 2. So watch out for that one in this game.
That's a very interesting veterancy change, actually.
Molotov's not having much effect against Von Ivan there. Folks Grenadiers were able to just get out of there almost immediately and keep the pressure on poor Kryptic, as he's starting to be a bit embattled here, only 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the game done.
Yeah, he's actually not paying too much attention to the big threat right now, which is the fact that he has been cut off from his resources very successfully by Von Ivan in the center. He's actually still pushing territories left and right, which are not connected to the base. and obviously meaning that he's going to be suffering resources from that a lot. He needs to get everything together and clear the center.
He does. He needs to do something. He needs to act fast and think faster to make it happen. Because nice Molotov in on the stern pioneers. At least that's some small win. But he has to get rid of these deep-rooted Focus Grenadiers behind cover. And yeah, he's been pushed back quite heavily here.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Should be able to get control of this. He's still got the VP, so there hasn't been any serious early game VP drain to start this off. See Volks Grenadiers, which are near the TM35 line, going to have an engagement against Engineers, negative to green cover. So Engineers actually doing a really good job from that cover position.
And of course, combat Engineers now have the ability for fierce shout to suppress your opponents. Sorry, you're laughing.
Yeah, I am.
You usually take everything I say at face value. I was hoping you'd take this.
I did. I clicked on the unit to see if it had the ability.
You did!
That's why I laughed.
You always believe me, and now I have proof. You did it on stream.
What am I supposed to do? You're like my analysis caster. I have to rely on the information you give me. You can't trick me like
shouts. Come on. Oh, damn. Right.
Okay. Oh, dear. So, Kryptic is actually starting to pull back into this game. He's going to invest in a mortar, I believe, to just get Von Ivan out of any of those cover positions we see him taking behind the truck at the moment. We see there's plenty of green cover Von Ivan will be using in the center. So, mortar, I think, actually a really good unit choice. We've also got tripwire flares that are being planted by Kryptic to see when OKW comes on the flank around the right side. So he's really expecting that Von is going to be putting out some serious map strategies.
And one thing I'm a little bit kind of upset about at the moment is Kryptic failing with a Conscript build. We want to see Conscript succeeding, and he's not been able to get into the battlefield, and he's left himself now exposed for a very certain 85-second building anti-infantry light tank, the Kubelwagen. Sorry, the Panzer II Luchs. But it is coming onto the battlefield. And the reason I kind of make a joke whenever I talk about the Panzer II is because we're so used to seeing it now. It's almost as though... Nice mortar round. It's almost as though it's kind of to be expected. So, like a post-traumatic kind of... The way I deal with it is to try and make a joke. But it is going to be on the field now, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems for Kryptic.
Yeah, and also Von is, ahead of the Luchs arriving on the field. He's already gone to the left-hand side of the map with the Stern Pioneers. He's done some minesweeping and pretty much negated everything that Kryptic was trying to pull off as snares at the start of the, for when this light vehicle arrives. So Von is in a very, very good position right now. Luchs doesn't really have anything to worry about at this stage, and Kryptic still hasn't picked the commander, which I expect maybe guard motor when this Luchs comes out.
Dan, has alcohol kicked in at all for you? I know you had a swig of wine. Oh no, it just sounded a little bit like when I cast Zoomcast and I've had like 4 whiskies or something. That's all. You went. Did a noise I
haven't
usually.
Had any alcohol.
Have you not? I thought you said you had a massive glass of wine.
Last night.
Oh, sorry. I thought. God. Never mind. The Panzer II is here, and Kryptic's done the wise thing. He's retreated instantaneously with 2 squads and soft retreated with the other. He's no longer allowed on that side of the battlefield, and he doesn't currently have a counter except for mines. One point about the Molotov, of course, it now costs 80 manpower, 10 fuel, which should allow you to be able to build the anti-tank grenade package a little bit more readily as Soviets, and I would expect him to be building that, but he hasn't gone for it quite yet. I think he's going to be saving for the Tankovi Battalion Command instead.
It's, I don't know, I would have thought I guess the preemptively advanced warfare would have worked, because that would have given the conscripts the PPSHs, and I would have thought actually because that has the T-35 late game, that would have been a really good choice for him, but this late in, He hasn't really used any of the commanders that would have that early game benefit, so I'm wondering if counter-attack, there's something he's trying to do here with that.
Well, counter-attack would always be a good choice. The KP1 has had some significant buffs now. It's a proper tanky, balance sponging tank now. Ooh, Conscript's in difficult territory, having to retreat. The Zis, of course, was the choice. That was, as soon as I said tier 3, I saw tier 2 in base. So that's what he was saving his manpower for. But obviously, a Zis still operates best with a snare from your Conscripts. So he definitely does need a bit of that as well, I would argue.
Oh, no 18 aids teched. Luchs is just free reign completely. It's AT gun has a lot of work to do, and it's just a really awkward position on the map as well for the AT gun to get any sight lines, because, you know, as you can see here, there's just trees everywhere and ridge lines and buildings, and AT gun is not going to be effective. It needs to have 18 aids to snare that Luchs in position, but AT gun can really force it off. But Kryptic, with a couple of territories left, not having the best start to this game, or indeed this event.
Indeed not, no. He has not had the best start, and I think this is a prime example of that tier system we were talking about down at the elite players and the players that aren't quite on their level. And Kryptic's a great player, but Von Ivan is of that inner cabal of players. He definitely arrived there in the last year, I would say. It took him a while to get there in that exclusive club, but he is now there. He's one of the true feared veteran tournament players. So what I'm saying is, I love the fact that we're seeing guys like Kryptic coming up, but they have to really, you know, seriously get better. It sounds terrible to say, but there are ways to do it. You have to be more analytical, you have to scrim more, you have to get friends in this community that will give you the right advice and will help you become a better player. And I think people will get there, and we will see it in the next several months of tournament play, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, who remembers Theodosios, Dan? He arrived there, didn't he, over ESL's period?
I can't remember exactly when he arrived, but I do know that he is an example of a player that just continually gets better and better, and he's just hit that level so fast. I just remember we always get those surprise players like Talisman. Do you remember when Talisman popped on the scene?
That's who I meant, sorry. Yeah, no, Talisman, that was the guy.
Well, Kryptic is very lucky to get away with that Conscript.
That
left it completely there. Like, I'm surprised that lived, if I'm totally honest. A little bit of a misplay from Von not to spot that with the multiple squads there. But yeah, I mean, you know, as you were saying before, I mean, the idea of this event, the reason why it's on now, of course, is because this is like training. This is like visual training for the next generation of competitive players in Company of Heroes. They'll be seeing the top strats here, they'll be developing new strats based off the back of those here, playing 1v1s, encouraged to get on the ladder and play against each other, create rivalries. That's the whole idea of this. So, you know, this is just the start of everyone's story.
Nice from the Fallschirmjägers, dropped from the Junkers plane there. They're on the battlefield. Pretty decent elite squad now, able to get on there and do some decent work. Go on, Dan, what have you seen?
No, just a grenade. The grenade there. Could have done some serious damage there. Did you say Junkers plane?
Yes.
As in like Jean-Claude Juncker of the European Union?
Yes. That's how he arrived to the EU negotiations.
More of our troops have been lost.
So Juncker, obviously a lot of Germanic words from World War II still exists to this day, Dan. Like Siemens, that famous company, they made incinerators that were used in one of the most horrible ways you could imagine. And loads of stuff like that. It's crazy, yeah. But Junkers did make aircraft in World War II. Oh. And now make EU negotiators. I love my facts. My facts are always about half, 60% right, and then there's always somebody in a YouTube comment that corrects the 40% that was incorrect. Like, last week I was talking about... oh god, nice mortar round! Jesus Christ, how did that work? Did you catch that hilarious retreat wipe then?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was great. They retreated for about 300 meters and then... There's that dead squad near the tree.
Oh, I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, they were retreating, and the mortar round intercepted them beautifully. It was great. So yeah, I had a fact last week. What was it? Hitler juice, which was the amphetamine they gave to Wehrmacht soldiers to help them invade France and stuff. The actual name for it was either Sturmchokolade or Hermann Göring Pillen. There was never a Hitler juice. It was Hermann Göring pills or Storm chocolate, because they put it in chocolate. They put amphetamines in chocolate. So that was the real name. So always when you're listening to my World War II facts, take them with a slight pinch of salt. They're always kind of right, but never fully right.
Thank you. We did have, by the way, guard motor was the choice eventually. Guard's been on the field for a little while, which I think was a sensible choice, but it would have been a sensible choice 5 or 6 minutes ago at the latest, because...
I think he's now experimenting.
Yeah, I don't know. At the very least, he's lost his AT gun now. The guards, he's not even retreating those. I'm not sure what these guards are doing there. He's severely pressured by Von, and has just made a lot of mistakes. And there is the surrender. So yeah, just pressure play by Von. Kryptic unfortunately cracks. And,
oh, nice, good alliteration.
Yeah. Alright, okay, so after Kryptic tried to dethrone the new king, Von Ivan, Von is now on his second win, which means he has started the accumulation cash prize.
Nice.
And now we are going to very, very quickly open up our raffle for the next player, which I'll open right now. Wait, has someone opened it already? No. So yeah, I'll open the raffle now. And guys, get raffling. We're going to leave it open for a minute. And then pick